What's up, you beautiful people? Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I want to talk about the book launch that everybody has been talking about that happened just this last weekend. Mr. Alex Hormozi himself broke the world record for the most number of nonfiction books sold within a 24-hour period. He sold, I think it was, I don't know what the number is. Last I looked, it was like over 3 million. The book that held the title up to that point was Spare by Prince Henry or Harry, one of the princes. And then the second book on the list was like Barack Obama's memoirs, right? So like the top 5 best-selling books of all time within the first 24 hours were all these books by politicians. Alex saw that and he said, I'm going to break that. I'm going to have that record. And so he did some things that were really interesting. I want to break down this launch and share a couple of ideas, things that we can take away from this that I think are really, really genius level marketing. But then some concerns that I have. And there's one really big concern that I have coming off the back of this launch that I want to share with you, because I think we're going to see a lot of people trying this and it's going to do a lot of damage. So let's talk about this book launch. So first of all, Alex has got a massive audience. He's like the guru of all business gurus. He's a genius. And honestly, I think he's one of the best in the game right now. I have nothing but mad respect for Alex. The wisdom, the knowledge that he shares, one, is tactical and practical. Two, it's born from actually having lived through it. You can tell like he has an authenticity about the information he's sharing. I know he rubs a lot of people the wrong way with this kind of like hustle, rise and grind type of mentality, but I genuinely think that he is one of the good guys in this game of entrepreneurship. However, off the back of this book launch, I think he might have inadvertently set something terrible into motion. So no shade on Alex, just I'll break down what exactly I'm saying. But for those of you that weren't paying attention, here's how he did it. So he got everybody together for a big launch. He went live on YouTube for like, initially it was supposed to be for 3 hours, but the dude went for like 10 hours straight. He just kept going. That's amazing, first of all. Then he came back the next day, did it again. Then came back the next day, did it again. I'm like, man, does Hormozi just have like a live stream going now? And I think genuinely that's what he's going for, because a topic of discussion that's occurring within the creator economy right now is who has the most buy-in and trust from their audience. It's the people that have spent the most time with their audience, right? And so a YouTuber has more built-in trust and affinity with their audience than, say, a TikToker who only spends 60 seconds with them. But the natural, derivation of this, if you extrapolate it out, is streamers, people who spend actual 6 hours a day just streaming live with their audience, have the highest level of affinity. I think Alex realizes that. And so he is trying to play into that. And so over this last 3-day period, he probably did like over 20 to 25 hours of live streaming is my guess. And so what he did then is he brings everybody into this launch, and he sells the book. It's like $30, right? But then he has this special offer. And he says, if you buy 200 copies of this book, I will throw in all of this other stuff, these playbooks, this AI that we trained on all of my IP, so you can get trained by Alex, right? All of like these private webinars. So there's all these really valuable things, but the really big one was the playbooks. Now you might look at that and be like, why on earth would I buy 200 books? Especially because the going price of this was $6,000. Like, I don't need $6,000 worth of this damn book. Like, why would I do this? So the idea that he had here, and it's genius, is, hey, I want to get this book into the hands of every entrepreneur in America. And I can only do that if we can probably donate a lot of these, because they're not going to go out there and buy the books, right? So what he's saying is if you buy 200 copies of these books, you can then donate them for free to your friends, to your family, to your audience. And then whatever you don't donate at the end of the year, we're going to donate on your behalf. We're going to find entrepreneurs to give this book to. They just need to pay for the shipping. We'll get the book out to them, right? Now, most people, like, this is really, really beautiful. And beautiful in an interesting way, because the book is called Money Models. And what he did here is he demonstrated the exact concept in the book, which is how do you take a thing, a product, a book, and then find other ways to package it, bundle it, and then resell it in higher value formats. So what he effectively did is he took a $30 book and figured out a way to sell it for $6,000. That's a money model. It's a great encapsulation of what he was teaching, and I don't think a lot of people caught that. He did the same thing with his last book launch, $100 million leads, where he demonstrated all the ways that I got 500,000 people onto this webinar are the ways that we talk about generating leads inside this book. We did outreach, we did inbound, we did affiliates, right? We did advertising, all of that stuff. So he did it again with this book. I don't think anybody noticed it, or not a lot of people, but it was actually really brilliant. Now here's how he got people on board with the idea of paying $6,000 for 200 books. Because even with all the other really valuable things, and those things are probably worth way more than 6,000 to be honest. The thing is, like, how do you sweeten this deal even more to make it an absolute no-brainer? And so what he did is he told people this is a tax write-off. Because you are buying these books to donate, that makes it a charitable contribution. Therefore, on your taxes, you get to write off this $6,000. Now, that's a brilliant twist on this whole thing, because now you're tapping into people's desire not only to get this rare thing, but also to do good, right? Now they have status because they can buy these books, they can share it with their friends. They also get the benefit on their taxes of this thing. So this $6,000, it's no longer just a pure cost, but it's actually going to help them on their taxes at the end of the year. That's brilliant. And I don't want to cast shade on that strategy and say there's anything wrong with it, that they did anything nefarious, because I am sure his team did everything to cross their T's and dot their I's to make sure they're being compliant when they were saying this and how they were talking about this. Now, the problem is that he's technically correct in saying that this is the donation the way that they structured it. And he's technically correct to say that they sold $3 million or 3 million books. But did they really? Not really. Because nobody was buying 200 books when they paid $6,000. That's not what they wanted. What they wanted was all this other really valuable stuff. And the books were just being thrown in as an also bought. But they're trying to position it as though that's what people were buying, and therefore 3 million books were sold. Effectively, how many people bought a book is a more interesting metric than how many books were sold. Because one person, if you're Elon Musk and you want to break the world record for most books sold in a 24-hour period, then you just write a book and then you go, because you're Elon Musk and you have trillions of dollars, and you buy $3 million worth of your own book. Now, did you sell $3 million of books? No, you didn't sell it to 3 million people. You sold 3 million copies. And this brings to light one of the dark, grimy things that occurs within the publishing industry. Alex did nothing wrong here. He's just playing the game that everybody's been playing, but it's been typically played in private. And instead, he brought it to the public and cast light on it. See, the way that most books hit the bestseller list on the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal is they go to these big corporations like IBM or Apple or Google, and they say, hey, if you buy 10,000 copies of my book, I will come to your campus and I will give a speech, I will give a consult, I will do this other thing that's very valuable. In exchange, all I ask is that you buy these books. So if my speaking fee is usually $100,000, then instead of paying me $100,000 to give the speech, how about you buy $100,000 of my books? That right there is how every book on the New York Times list gets on the New York Times list. Sorry to burst the bubble. If you thought it was something like better, it's not. It's really dirty. It's really stupid. Because at the end of the day, like, the more important metric is not how many copies of the book were sold, how many people bought the book. So Alex did not sell to 3 million people. You know, he sold $3 million copies, but if you back that out from like 200 books to most of those people, and he even had upsells on the back of this, where he would then say, oh, you bought the $6,000, would you like to buy the $18,000 package where we give you even more books? Would you like there's a $100,000 package where you could buy like 1,000 books, right? That's like crazy. So like, that's how he got to those numbers. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's brilliant. He played the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. He played it better than anybody. He brought the private thing into the public. Those are some of my thoughts about the Hormozi book launch this weekend. And it's really interesting. I want to eat a little bit of crow here, because literally the day before the launch, I told Anuj, I was like, I don't think this is going to go. I don't think it's going to hit. I don't think it's going to do as well as they're anticipating, as well as they expect it to do. I was completely wrong, but I think I was also kind of right. Like, the reason I thought that was because I didn't see a lot of general excitement from people about this particular book of money models. Like, $1 million offers, $1 million leads. Those are interesting and like very compelling, but like the money models, nobody was really talking about that. Nobody seemed to be too interested. So I was like, I don't think this book launch is going to go as well as they think. I think it's going to do great, but I don't think it's going to set the world on fire. Now, here's why I think I was actually kind of right, is because they capped the number of packages that they were selling to 25,000 of that $6,000 $200 book bundle, right? So they were expecting at max to sell 25,000 of these, which would have been like $150 million worth of top line revenue, and they were spending $50 $500,000 worth of ads every single day for 2 months. Like, they have an enormous amount of money that went into this launch, right? And the reason I don't think it went as quite as well as they were hoping is because they had to come back the next day and keep pushing it. And then they came back the next day. And then I got like 50 emails on the very last day before the offer finally expired. And I suspect that now here's two things. Like, it's possible that I'm completely wrong here. But if my gut tells me they put a cap on this thing at 25,000 and they thought they were going to hit that in the first day. That is my gut feeling. Maybe the second day. But I don't think they expected it to stretch into the third and fourth day, all the way into midnight, which tells me that it probably didn't hit the capacity that they had set. So if they thought they could sell 25,000 of these, maybe they only sold 21,000. It took longer than they expected. I could be completely talking out my ass here. I'm just trying to pad my ego a little bit because I was just so damn wrong on the front end. So good job to the crew, guys. I very impressed. You set the bar high for the rest of us, you sons of bitches. Instead of trying to clear it, I think I'm just going to go under it in the future. So that'll do it for me, guys. I'll see you in the next episode.